Now let's bring it back to the Jets and our great friend Jamal Adams, who is no longer with us, but did gift us 2 first-round picks, the first ending up in Elijah Vera-Tucker, who the Jets took at 14. Marcus Maye, Clay, has been holding out, if you can call it a holdout, during OTAs. They're obviously voluntary, but he was back in the building for minicamp, which is a great sign. He's here ready to work despite things not going his way. Sign of maturity. He's a leader in this locker room, a guy that Robert Saleh has spoken really highly of and said they want to get this done, which is really positive for the organization of Marcus Maye. Meanwhile, over out west in Seattle, Jamal Adams, I think it's for some personal reasons as well, but wasn't at minicamp. Sounds like he was willing to hold out anyway. Let's have a discussion about these 2 safeties. PFF did an article last week, I think it was. Steve Palazzolo did the safety rankings, and he actually had Marcus Maye ranked above Jamal Adams based on 2020 tape and who he'd have as his top safeties going into 2021. I guess the first question is, if you had to choose right now, let's factor in contracts, personality type, who would you take on the Jets roster? Let's take away the Jamal Adams beef with Joe Douglas. But if you had to pick one of those guys to be your starting safety, who would you take?
I mean, I'm still going Jamal Adams. No, he wasn't great in coverage last year. But he's so dynamic in the box. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. He is the best safety in the box. And no, I'm not watching every snap of every safety. So, yeah, there might be one that's better. But with how much I've watched Jamal Adams over his first 3 years with the Jets, and I watched a little bit of him in Seattle, he is still one of the best, if not the best safeties in the box. And he shows it. He shows it with stats, too. He can back it up with his sack numbers. I mean, what did he have? Didn't he break the record last year? Or was he close to breaking the record? And then he was close to breaking the record with the Jets. So, I know they play different games. I mean, Maye, he's kind of more versatile. He can play in the box. He can play deep. Where Jamal, he's primarily a box safety. But what he can bring to your defense in the box is just so helpful. So helpful. And no, Seattle didn't have a great defense last year, so it's maybe not the best argument. But, I mean, he is elite at something where Maye is just very good at a lot of different things. And if we're just putting him on this Jets team, I'll have Adams in the box and Joyner playing free safety any day of the week. I'll gladly take that. And don't get me wrong, I love Marcus Maye. He's a Gator. I mean, he's a leader. There's no qualms with him. And I'm very happy to have him on this team. But I'm still taking Jamal Adams. Personality aside, beef with Joe Douglas aside, and we can kind of go into Men in Black and have that little clicker thing. I'm taking Jamal Adams.
Yeah, look, I'm going to back up what you said, Clay. We both agree that Marcus Maye is a great player. He's a top 10 safety in the league, and we're not taking anything away from Marcus Maye or saying he's not a good player or he hasn't been great for the Jets. He's made a ton of plays in the backfield, and I think he's a really good leader and a really good football player. I'm with you. Jamal Adams was hurt last year. He had a bad shoulder. He had, I think, some broken fingers. Man, he's one of the best safeties in football. We like to pile on. We're Jets fans. We're having fun on social media, all that kind of thing. Jamal Adams is a top 2 or 3 safety in the NFL. I know Cooper Kupp went up above him and caught a ball on his head last year, and people take those screenshots, and they don't factor in injuries and things like that. Jamal Adams is a terrific player.
And then where are the screenshots of when he literally stripped the ball? Was that of Daniel Jones out of his hand and ran back for a touchdown? You got to remember what he can bring there, too.